That's it then, a low-scoring cliffhanger in Abu Dhabi that sees the Sunrisers Hyderabad continue their red-hot streak towards the end of this tournament. 4 straight wins for them, and they inflict upon the Royal Challengers Bangalore an elimination. After this eliminator, they down them and consign them to 5 defeats that Virat Kohli side have ended with. It was a game that had so much event and so much drama, and Jason Holder and Kane Williamson, 2 international captains, at the end of the day have seen the Sunrisers home. Let's look back at all of that on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket Info T20 Time Out, powered by Dell. Sanjay Manjrekar with me, so too Gautam Gambhir. Sanjay, that was a close game. I'm not sure any side would have been particularly confident with the ebb and flow that it had, but there was a sense of feeling that if Williamson bats till the end, if Holder bats till the end, Sunrisers would get there.
Yes, and they lost 4 wickets, so there was some batting to come. Maybe not the batting that we expect, or depend on. But there are some guys down there who would have got the job done, because the score just wasn't enough. So I thought the bowlers won them the game today. The chase wasn't convincing. I hope for something better from SRH, just to sort of announce, they are qualifying into the final 3 in order shot at getting into the finals. With a better run chase, wasn't to be. We enjoyed the run chase, nail biter and all that. But boy, again, something that we talked and so relevant. We talked about Jason Holder, Kane Williamson, guys with test experience. T20 cricket still needs that kind of temperament and calmness, doesn't it?
Yeah, in the last few games, Gautam, their middle order has not had much of a hit, not been used under pressure, and David Warner's done a lot of the work in a big game. Perhaps another tick mark for Sunrisers that their middle order can deliver on a night when Warner doesn't.
Especially when you've got Kane Williamson at number 4. Obviously, I'm sure that if you get the maximum out of Kane Williamson, you would ask him to open the batting, but his experience, his class, his quality, his temperament, everything. That's the reason he bats at number 4, and look what he's done today. In chases, like when you're chasing 130, 140, you want someone like Kane Williamson at number 4 who could control the chase. I don't think so. It was too close a game. Actually, it was a very smart run chase. When you win a game by 6 wickets, it was a very smart run chase because they knew that if they can take the game, if Kane Williamson bats till the end, they will always be in the game. And probably, yes, we can see because it finished in the 19.4 overs, but then they were always under control. Probably just from the 6th to the 14th over, they were a little out of control because they had 2 leg spinners bowling at them. That was the only time where I thought RCB got back into the game. But once Kane Williamson was in and that shot of Washington Sundar, probably from there on, actually, they got the control back.
That's a good point you make. And let's get deeper into that. I love both your thoughts. I'll start with you, Gautam, since you brought it up. You'd think ideally Kane Williamson has had his best IPL years at the top of the order. We've debated on our show in the past whether he should be batting 3 ahead of Manish Pandey or maybe open in the absence of Johnny Bairstow. But there's a reason that he's kept at number 4. And perhaps today that management would say this is why we wanted him there.
You know what the difference between SRH and RCB? Why SRH is such a successful side in the last 5 or 6 years and RCB hasn't? Is because they think about the team, not the individuals. I'm sure if you ask Kane Williamson today, even now, when he's got a 50, unbeaten 50, where would he like to bat? And he would say, I would love to open the batting. But it is about the team. In a team sport, individuals have a place, but not beyond the team's interest. So when you see Virat Kohli, there's so much of talk about Virat Kohli opening the batting. If he wanted to open the batting, he should have done that probably from the start of the tournament. And then they should have had a squad. Probably if Virat wanted to open, they should have had a middle order batter in the auction. They should have picked a middle order batter in the auction. But then again, I think it was all about Virat and AB. But in SRH, you don't see that. Kane Williamson, not the power hitter, just class, test match kind of a player. And he's done the job which the team asked him to do. And this is what team sport is all about. And that is why they're such a successful side.
Sanjay?
Yeah, you have to agree with those points. And today RCB have lost yet another chance to get into the final. Then when you look at their record about last 7-8 years, they haven't really made a mark in the IPL, and the leadership has been the same. What I get really upset about is when teams mess up their controllables. Now, what are the controllables? Is picking the right players, having the right tactics before a game, picking the right 11, and that is where RCB have always faltered. It's not been so much about execution, it's been about planning. And today, just as a poetic kind of end, justice, what was evident, who was bowling the last 2 overs? Siraj and Saini. When you look at all the other teams, some of them haven't gone into the playoff, but when you look at the bowler that they go to when the match gets really close, Rajasthan Royals have a Jofra Archer. KKR would go to, say, Cummins or Russell. Mumbai Indians have a Bumrah. Kings 11 have got a Shami. So all these guys have somebody. Delhi Capitals have a Rabada. But who do RCB have? They have a Saini and they have a Siraj and they had a Umesh Yadav. So they have never looked to plug the real holes that makes a team wholesome, to use the same sounding word. So, that has been the problem, and that has made RCB a vulnerable side, because they have depended so much on two or three key players, forgetting that the lifeline of any team are the little nuts and bolts that make up a team that is without too many holes.
I guess the point you make, I can extend that by saying one on team selection that you said, Sanjay, and you could sympathize to some degree with RCB that they lost Chris Morris, their strike bowler, in a big game, but they made that call to leave out Isuru Udana, another bowler you played perhaps for that
I'm not
reason.
even talking about this particular game. I'm talking right at the auction table.
Sure.
Like, they still went for Umesh Yadav. He hasn't played at all. They still had Pavan Negi in the squad for some reason, when he's shown over the year that he's not quite adding value to a T20 IPL team. Mohammad Siraj, had that magical spell, still not able to get any confidence out of it. So these are all gambles. These are guys who are bowl a couple of spells which are good, but what you need in the IPL to win is consistency, which a lot of seam bowlers have shown of lesser gifts. And that is where I think, even in the final stage, you could see that Virat Kohli was constantly talking to Siraj and Saini. Maybe he believes that these are actually world beaters, but they aren't. He's got to start looking at the results that the talent that he's investing in are producing, and they're just not producing enough results. And he actually backs the same guys at the next auction. So when we started off looking at all the teams this season, we looked at the holes. Have RCB filled up that big void and the big vulnerability that they have? No, they hadn't. So a lot of us didn't give them a chance to get into the final, two.
In fairness, Sanjay, though, wouldn't you say this has been RCB's best bowling year? And if anything, 113 eliminator wasn't enough, and perhaps more batsmen need to put their hand up? Would you go with that? Or would you
But the batting
not?
also has not been sorted out, right? AB de Villiers, Virat Kohli,
Fair,
Patel
yeah.
was a welcome addition. Aaron Finch, to be fair, I thought he'll have a pretty good season, but that's it, and there's nothing much there. Which they had gone with some kind of a season's middle order batsman to, just make sure that the cream is not only at the top. But again, bowling, when you look at the bowling, only Washington Sundar and Yuzvendra Chahal have been consistent. All the other bowlers have been hit and miss. And that is just far too much of a gamble if you want to win the IPL, because it's a long tournament.
Is that your takeaway as well, Gautam? The bowling, perhaps it's had its best year away from the Chinnaswamy. And today as well, Zampa, Chahal, that was the period of play, you think, which kept Bangalore in it, even in the 130 game. But the takeaway for Bangalore is they need more.
First of all, I would like to add one thing where you said that because they lost Chris Morris, but look at the amount of players SRH has lost. They lost Mitchell Marsh. They lost Vijay Shankar. So many other guys as well. They lost Bhuvneshwar
Kumar. I think that's the biggest one, yeah.
Yeah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So it's not only about Chris Morris. Okay, you can defend as much as you want. You can keep saying, though, you know what, we qualified for the playoffs. We deserve to qualify for the playoffs. Absolutely not. RCB actually never deserved to qualify to the playoffs. If you see the last 4 or 5 games, they weren't, and even that one super over actually against Mumbai Indians, they were very fortunate that Navdeep Saini actually bowled that last over and bowled that last over brilliantly. But otherwise, they didn't had a great season. From the batting point of view and from the bowling point of view, yes, your bowling will look better because you're not playing at Chinnaswamy. Chinnaswamy is a graveyard for the bowlers, no doubt about it. But then, yes, when there are bigger grounds, when there are wickets which might help the bowlers a little bit, plus a bigger ground, it will always feel that you will have a good bowling season. But then I absolutely agree with Sanjay that if you have Mohammad Siraj and Navdeep Saini bowling the last 2 overs, and you're defending 18 and 19, it's got to be difficult against any international top quality batter. But again, I think there are a lot of problems. The problem starts with the management. The problem starts with the support staff. And then, most importantly, the problem starts from the leadership. Till the time the leadership is not accountable, You will keep getting the same results year after year, and that is where the problem is. 8 years into the IPL, and you still haven't won the IPL. So that is where the problem is, not the coaches. And I feel sorry for the support staff. I feel sorry for the coaches. I feel sorry for batting coach, all those people, because every year you have a new coach for RCB, but the problem is somewhere else.
Also,
Sanjay?
quickly, I want to join in this particular discussion the fact that RCB show the same traits of winning and losing. So they win 5 in a row, lose 5 in a row. So that's clearly a problem there. I mean, after having the kind of start they had this season, to lose 5 matches in a row. Last year, I guess it was different, where they lost a lot of games in a rush, one after the other, and then had a very late comeback. And the final point I want to make about the playoffs, making the playoffs is making it into the final four, right? And how many teams do we have in the IPL? 8 teams, at the most 10. So it's no big deal if you're making the playoffs, because you're looking at just 8 teams, and if you get into the final four, I mean, it's just 50% of the team that have made it.
And Ronak, just one more thing. Imagine if AB would have had a bad season. Tell me what would have happened to RCB if AB just his pure brilliance against Mumbai Indians and a couple of other games, against Rajasthan Royals as well, was the one who actually won them 2 or 3 games out of 6 or 7, whatever, 7, yes. But then imagine if AB has a bad season, what would have happened to them? So I don't think so. As a unit, they've done anything different to what they had done last year. They're probably exactly the same this year as well. Only because you've qualified for the playoff, just because of one individual's absolute brilliance, doesn't make you a strong contender to win the IPL.
All right, let's close this discussion with one simple question. If you guys were making the call at RCB, would you be changing things? Would you be changing the captaincy? Gautam?
100%. 100%. Because the problem is about accountability. 8 years into the tournament. 8 years is a long time. Tell me any other captain. Forget about captain. Tell me any other player who would have got 8 years and wouldn't have won the title and still continued with it. So it has to be accountability. A captain needs to take accountability. And especially when you've had a season. I remember a season in 2016 or 17, I don't remember, where they got bowled out for 49. They got thrashed. We got 100 in first 6 overs. And they only won one game in the IPL. And it's not 1 year. It's not only about this. I have nothing against Virat Kohli, but somewhere down the line, he needs to put his hand up and say, yes, I am responsible. I am accountable. 8 years is a long, long time. Look at what has happened to Ravichandran Ashwin. 2 years of captaincy, he couldn't deliver, and he was removed. So there are so many other. We talk about MS Dhoni, we talk about Rohit Sharma, and we talk about Virat Kohli. Not at all. MS Dhoni has won 3 titles. Rohit Sharma has won 4 titles. And that's the reason why they captained for such a long time, because they delivered. I'm sure if Rohit Sharma wouldn't have delivered for 8 years, he would have been removed as well. So there should not be this different yardsticks for different people. So the problem and the accountability starts from the top, not from the management, not from the support staff, from the leader. You're the leader, you're the captain, and you got to take, when you get the credit, you should take the criticism as well.
I have a slightly different view, and we've had this disagreement before as well, Gautam and me, on another platform. I think the onus is not so much with the captain himself, it's got to be with the owners. Because they are the people who appoint the captain and decide what kind of leadership they want for the team. And a couple of years back, I had made this comment that when you look at what's going wrong with RCB, you'll see that the results are not at all, good. And what's been the same has been the leadership in the team. The captain and coach, for a long time, Daniel Vittori was Virat's, coach, and the captain has been the same. So if you want a change of scenario and change of results, you've got to change the captain. But I'm not expecting Virat Kohli to put his hand up and say,
Why?
I've not delivered. I want the owners to do their job. People who
But
have
why
the power.
not? Can I just add one thing?
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just add one thing? Why not? He's captaining India. It has nothing to do with franchise. Franchise cricket is different to when you're captaining the national side. When you're captaining the national side, you've got Jasprit Bumrah, you've got Rohit Sharma, you've got Washington Sundar, all those guys. You've got KL Rahul. It's easy to captain those people. It's easy to captain Mohammad Shami.
So I agree with you. Only point of difference that you and me we have is that the decision is really in the hands of the owners. And if at all RCB is not winning the title, firstly, I would hold the owners responsible for not having the right leader perhaps to give them the winning results and the planning that has gone all along. So I've maintained with RCB, it's not so much about the execution. As RCB's performance this season surprised you. When a team surprises you with their performance, it's about execution and not so much about planning. CSK, Gautam Gambhir didn't have CSK in the final four because when we looked at the team, we saw that the planning wasn't right. Same with RCB. So if they're trusting the leadership who have not been planning well and not giving the winning results, the owners of the franchise are firstly to be held responsible, and then it trickles downwards.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Look at what Sunrisers did. They had Kane Williamson as a captain, unbelievable captain. Gave results to them. They thought that he might not fit into the playing 11, so they actually changed him with David Warner. And that is what it is about: strong leadership. It is about strong management. When you remove an international captain who's captained so successfully his international side plus the franchise, and then just because you think that he will not be able to fit into the playing 11, they get David Warner as the captain, just because I think that yes, the team is far more important than the individual. And 8 years is a long time. And it's not that Virat Kohli is inexperienced. He captains India, he captains whichever team he plays for, but you got to give results. You got to deliver. Sport is all about delivering. It's not about just the brand or just whatever you call it. Ultimately,
Can I make
sorry. Carry on.
Sorry, finish your point.
No, I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah. So the only point I want to make is now what is happening with Virat Kohli and the results and everything that we've discussed is not something that is unique to RCB. Ronak, I would like your views as well, because you look at the game holistically as well. This is something about Indian cricket culture. We have seen icons, sometimes, especially in their latter years as individuals, as captains, actually do a bit of disservice to the team. But it's something that is part of a culture where we refuse to look at a player, that we make the player into a god, and then we refuse to look at any weakness in that person. And when it comes to icons, we are rarely ever clinical with our decisions, and the right cricketing logic is never applied because the iconic status, the superstardom of the player just precedes everything else. And any team that falls prey to this, well, these are the kind of results that you get. Because there was a time, I know I'm going beyond my brief here, this is an IPL show, but there was a time when a certain player decided he wanted to come back and play one-day cricket, and a very successful opening pair of Gautam Gambhir and Virendra Sehwag had to be separated to accommodate that player. So this is what happens in India, and something that we've seen over the years.
But there's another thing to this. What happens is that a lot of these coaches and these directors, they try and save their own skin as well, because they know that if they're being blunt and if they say the truth, probably they'll be the first one to be removed.
Wanted, yeah.
So it's very difficult for people like Simon Katich. It's very difficult for people like Mike Hesson. Do they have the courage to say that? Probably yes.
Exactly.
It's been 8 years.
Why I'm saying, Gautam,
so this is unfortunate. Yeah, this is unfortunate. Yeah. But that is what you're paid for. You're paid for to be absolutely honest. You're not paid for just to probably be in the good books of people. Ultimately, it's all about delivering. It's all about results. Yes, I know this is Simon Katich's first year, Mike Hesson's first year. But tell me, how many coaches has been removed? Ashish Nehra, 1 year with 1 or 2 years with RCB, out. But there are so many other guys as well. This is not how a franchise needs to run. So,
hopefully, this could be the final sort of where the penny will drop with the franchise. So good luck to RCB.
Yeah, it's a culture thing, isn't it? There are certain franchises you associate where you do not believe that a change of captaincy actually causes anything other than just a step in the right direction for the team. Sunrisers being one. They kept Bhuvaneshwar Kumar as captain 1 year. There were years where Williamson was on and off as captain. KKRF changed captain mid-season. There was a year Gautam Gambhir was captain, and on his own decided that it wasn't quite working for the team. So I guess it works.
Yeah, he should have continued as a batsman. That's what I felt. But
Ricky never picked me. That's the truth. Ricky never picked me, and I would not lie. I don't lie. I don't. I was absolutely available for selection.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought you quit both as captain and batsman.
No, I was available for selection, but he didn't pick me. That's fine. I have no grudges.
Played as a batsman.
I have no grudges against it. That's the coach, and I absolutely respect his decision. Nothing wrong in it. If he thinks that there was someone else who could deliver more than I can, he has all the right to do that, because I was not the captain to make the decision making. And that's why I said, whether it's me, whether it's anyone who's delivered, it's about team. team is more important than individuals.
All right, brilliant. That is
Thank you, Ronak, for giving us so much
discussion.
time.
Oh, my pleasure. This was fun. I had nothing to do in this. I have to just watch the two of you guys go. But pertinent points made by Sanjay Manjrekar and Gautam Gambhir. And let's see what happens at the Royal Challengers Bangalore after yet another year where they've failed to win it. And I understand the passion of the RCB fans. They are one of the most passionate following franchises in the IPL. And this would be a cause of concern even for them, right? Let's just get your thoughts on one more incident, which now seems like an age back after this riveting conversation. But it was the wicket of David Warner, and I'd love to know what Sanjay Manjrekar and Gautam Gambhir would have decided if they were in the third umpire's chair and Virender Sharma's chair. David Warner looked obviously disappointed at the decision, and it took a long time for the TV umpire to get there. Sanjay, did he get it right at the end?
See, I saw it only once. I was waiting for another set of replays to come and the commentators to bring up that incident again for me to have a really good look at what happened. So I'm not absolutely certain with what happened. It seemed, at certain angles that the ball was touching, but when you saw it from the rear angle, it seemed like there was a bit of a gap there. But I wish they had brought up after the decision was given, just to talk about it. I wish we had seen more visuals of what happened there.
Okay, did Gautam, they did spend a lot of time on it while the decision was being decided.
Yeah.
Did you make a call on it?
Not out.
Not out?
Wasn't conclusive. As simple as it gets. If
Yeah.
it wasn't conclusive, you got to go with it on-field umpire, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I think that's the other point. Whether it's hit or not, was there enough evidence, conclusive evidence, to overrule the on-field umpire's call? Even if the on-field call was out, it perhaps could have stayed that way because there didn't seem to be clear-cut evidence either way. Anyway,
just one question to you, Ronak. I know you're the one who's supposed to be asking the question. Who asks the review? Does it matter in the scheme of things? Who is asking for the review? Which team, which captain, or it doesn't come into play?
You tell me. Yes,
you got a nice job, no?
Yeah. This review, it's fun, isn't it? Right, it was a review that went upstairs by Virat Kohli, and of course, at the end of it, the umpire Virender Sharma did deem that there was enough to give David Warner out. I guess the Sunrisers will conclude now that point is rather moot. They've ended up on the right side of it because Kane Williamson was there and he was man of the match, and he's a player who does sense his role in this team, adapts his batting position, and then takes control of tough chases like this. So well done to Kane Williamson. I guess it would have been a close call between Williamson and Jason Holder as to who's your man of the match. I know Gautam feels very passionately about this as well, about who adjudicates man of the match. So I'm
sure Sanjay would agree with me on that.
Yeah, of course.
And we've seen quite a few go off. I think
I'm not. See, I commentate as well, so I'm taking that power from my hand as well. It's not that. That's why I say that from me to everyone, commentators can be biased, but coaches can never be biased. So that's the reason why I think probably they're the right people to do it.
How are we on time?
Well, what would you like to discuss? Let me take it.
I just want to say, when five commentators get together, there's a bit of debate within, and then eventually you come up with a much better sort of adjudication.
I believe it's
just the one. The one commentator during the IPL. I just remembered we used to get to fill a form, and there was one guy nominated for the day to pick the man of the match award. I'm so happy Jason Holder's got it, and I hope he hasn't got it.
No.
Because he also stayed.
Kane Williamson is the official man of the match.
I just saw player of the match check being held by Jason Holder.
There are a couple of these. There's a game changer and there's a player of the match. So let's not get confused. The official man of the match is Kane Williamson. They both get a check. If that amends.
Yeah, but again, I disagree because the winning contribution was made by a bowler when they got RCB under 140.
All right, so this goes on then. That pretty much is a wrap for this. Gautam Gambhir, let's give you a day off and let's get you back all ready and shining before the final. Sanjay Manjrekar, I will see you along with Tom Moody for build up to what is now confirmed as qualifying number 2, Sunrisers Hyderabad against Delhi Capitals. Many thanks to Gautam and Sanjay for just shooting straight. That's all we expect from them on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Time Out powered by Dell. A wonderful day for the Sunrisers and plenty to consider for RCB as their campaign comes to a close.
Thank you.